think that has allowed all the speakers from the public to speak. All of the councillors have spoken. So in closing, look, this has been difficult for all the councillors. And, you know, it's not easy to actually stand up and represent your community, even at the best of times. To, you know, to come up here to council every week, to deal with those phone calls, to deal with the emails, but to be representative of your community and to help them in whatever ways you can. So I really want to pay respects to all the councillors here because they work very hard for their community. I guess some of the comments, just to wrap up, certainly we have put BDS on the national agenda, whatever that means. Whatever that means. There were comments about that council had not been approached by residents regarding this issue, but councillors were actually approached regarding this issue, and councillors are the political arm of a council. So I think that needs to be held at the front. Community consultation wasn't done up front. And there are many motions to adopt policy positions at this council that do not go through initial community consultation. We've now had a report, which is the sensible and reasonable thing to do when you are looking at adopting a policy position. Get a report for further information so you can make an educated decision on whether to actually implement that policy or not, and that is what we have done. I think it's interesting that, that there were discussions around our sister city of Bethlehem, and particularly around the issue of, the comment was made that we have morale-boosting engagement with Bethlehem. And I would suggest that even a symbolic maintaining of in-principle support of the BDS campaign would be a morale-boosting engagement with our sister city of Bethlehem. I think to vote down the in-principle support in the hope that vitriolic correspondence will stop is misguided. Whatever happens here tonight, whatever way council, whatever council's will is, and whatever we choose to vote, whichever way we choose to vote, whatever comes out of tonight's decision, it will not make this issue go away. I really do think it is misguided to think that it will all stop, that the vitriolic correspondence will disappear if you refused in principle support for this campaign. I personally don't understand why we've had a sledgehammer used to crack the little egg of Marrickville Council on this issue. Because that's what's actually happened here is Marrickville Council has created a little egg here, which is support for this BDS campaign. We have created a little egg, which is support for the plight of the Palestinian people, and a sledgehammer is being used to break that. And I don't personally feel that I could walk away from tonight not continuing an in-principle support for that campaign. I will, look, the last thing I will say is that the vast majority of councillors on Marrickville Council voted in principle support for this campaign just 4 months ago. Just 4 months ago. So please, councillors, consider that previous decision when you vote again in a few moments. Now I will put Councillor Wright's amendment, which is to rescind both points 1 and 2 of the original resolution as they appear there. Thank you, Councillor Wright, for including the points. And of course, that deletes point 2 of the mayoral minute because that's already in the top half of the resolution. So I'd ask councillors who wish to vote for the amendment to please raise their hands. Councillor Macri, Councillor Hanna, Councillor O'Sullivan, Councillor Wright, Councillor Sardulius and Councillor Iskander. Those who are against the amendment, please raise your hands. Councillor Olive, Councillor Peters, Councillor Thanos, Councillor Phillips and Councillor Contellis, and myself. That is 6 for and 6 against. I use my casting vote to declare the amendment lost. I now put the motion as originally put. Thank you, Abby. So that is to rescind point 2 of the original resolution and to maintain in principle support of the global BDS campaign. Order please, order. It's not a sports competition. All those in favour of the motion, please raise your hands. Councillor Contellis, Councillor Thanos, Councillor Peters and myself. Those against, please raise your hands. Councillor Macri, Councillor Hanna, Councillor Phillips, Councillor Olive, Councillor O'Sullivan, Councillor Wright, Councillor Sardulius and Councillor Iskander. I declare both lost. So the motion is lost. Yes, so we need to move on to the next item.